Hi there, and welcome to this, the first of a dozen videos on pre and perinatal health and psychology. I'm your host, Dr. Alyssa Shepherd, holistic pregnancy and birth coach and creator of the online course Birth Bliss for holistic childbirth preparation. I'm so excited to have you joining me on this journey to discover the often forgotten realms of the prenatal and the perinatal periods and of their impact on our long-term health of body, of mind, and of soul. Our first explorations will be to answer the very basic questions. What is prenatal and perinatal health and psychology? Who needs to know about it? And why is it important to us as well as to human development? So let's dive right in and tackle that first question of why. Why are the prenatal and perinatal periods so important? Because this is where we first learn about people and about feelings of love, rejection, anxiety, sadness, and where basic character traits are formed. Our expression of health, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional, how we come to be in relationship with ourselves and with others, and who we are as a holistic individual is really determined largely in the prenatal period of our lives, as well as in the perinatal period of infancy. And on the shoulders of our individual health is built the health of our families, of our communities, of our cities, of our nations, and of our world. Can you imagine a world where every being knew with every fiber of their being, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they mattered, that they were unique and vital to the functioning of the whole? If one were to visit the Dagara tribe in Africa, one might find an apparently impoverished society that is abundantly rich in non-material ways in which many of us in North America can't even begin to conceive of comprehending. Why? Because the whole community holds the vision that each little one is vital to the community's future. Each person has a life purpose, unique talents, and strengths to contribute to the community. If we in Western culture knew this, truly knew this, with every cell of our body, every fiber of our being, to the depths of our heart and soul, do you think we would have 3 million Canadians and 17.3 million Americans suffering with depression? And would suicide be the second leading cause of death globally for 15 to 29-year-olds? And would half of all marriages end in divorce? These are but a mere few questions worth pondering and parameters that can be influenced significantly by and affected by our prenatal and our perinatal experiences. What would we need to make it such a place of empowerment, of equity, and elevation of the health, psychological, and spiritual well-being of all individuals? According to Sobonfu Same of the Dagara tribe, first we need clarity. We need a vision, an intention, and strategic planning. This phase must come first, much as the foundation for a home must be laid before a house with any hope of structural integrity can be built. Having a foundation upon which to build, we then add in the next phase, comprehension. Comprehensive education and planning and multiple levels of action in which to bring this vision into being. Just like building a house requires comprehensive levels of action, installation of plumbing, electrical work, structural work to the frame of the house, insulation, and more, fulfillment of this vision requires comprehensive action regarding planning, marketing and outreach, execution, and more. Lastly, we add the CAP, commitment. The commitment to do whatever it takes. And at the end, the house that we are left with, the house that we have built, is a house of wholeness. Wholeness in planning, with attention to the big picture in mind, the vision, and the details of how to get there, so that those who pass through this house of wholeness come out the other side far more whole themselves. So what exactly does the study of prenatal and perinatal health and psychology entail? One of two organizations that specifically studies prenatal and perinatal psychology and health is APA, or the Association for Prenatal and Perinatal Psychology and Health. This is also the organization that this video series was created for as part of the Pre and Perinatal Educator Certification Program. According to APA, the study of pre and perinatal health and psychology seeks to understand the psychology of pregnancy and birth. How is it that mothers or fathers or the world around one while one is in utero or being born influences the child? And where medical interventions are common in pregnancy and birth, and even postpartum, it is imperative to understand the effects of the interventions, not just physically, but also psychologically and spiritually, for mom, for baby, and for the whole family unit. With acknowledgement and understanding that trauma can be part of one's prenatal or perinatal experiences comes the responsibility to look at techniques and methods to help resolve that trauma, and to ultimately to holistically enhance the expression of health by individuals and families. Working within a relatively new field, there is a responsibility and necessity to continually learn, ask questions, to teach, and to meet with other like-minded individuals to help move this field of study forward, and to help ensure that individuals just like yourself have access to the most accurate and up-to-date information. Part of my personal interest in how our prenatal and perinatal experiences affect us throughout our lives echoes a story told by Thomas Verney, shared in the book Looking Back, a personal reflection by David Chamberlain. Verney recounts the story of Helen, a woman whom reports singing a specific lullaby to her unborn child throughout pregnancy, and when that child was a baby, being instantly able to soothe and calm them through singing the same lullaby. I sang my second child the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow throughout her gestation. I meant it as a song of soothing, a song of hope, and a song of recognizing that she is limitless. During her infancy, throughout toddlerhood, and even to date, singing this song instantly rivets her attention and soothes her in a way that no other song does. I can only conclude that she learned this song while I sang it to her when she lived and grew inside my belly. One of the factors that makes the study of prenatal and perinatal health and psychology unique is that care and attention is given to the conditions one finds oneself in prior to birth, as far back as conception, and as new data emerges, possibly even preconception. Where many other paradigms of health and what leads to health or disease focus from birth onward, prenatal and perinatal health and psychology creates no such artificial division. The person is seen as a conscious, sentient being with memories of all pre-verbal experiences. Thus, the period from conception or preconception up to the end of the first year forms a critical period for the expression of physical health, mental and emotional health, spiritual health, relational health, and overall well-being. The notion that babies are sentient and that our prenatal and perinatal experiences affect and shape our life are woven throughout time, including the reference above, taken from the book of Luke in the Bible. Psychoanalysis jumped hot onto this topic as headed by Freud, who saw birth as the first experience of anxiety and a blueprint for the way that anxiety is experienced and expressed, words he would later renounce. His protege, Otto Rank, wrote foundational information on the trauma of birth, work that was discredited and discarded by his mentor Freud and the psychoanalytic community at large. Although there are aspects of his work which have come to be found inaccurate, such as the notion that the prenatal period is completely blissful, as we now know that trauma can and does happen to some during gestation, his work has formed a backbone to build further study of this topic on. Many other scholars were to follow in a variety of fields, such as John Bowlby with his theory and work on early attachment in relationships, to Wilhelm Reich, pioneering the field of somatic psychology, and later the pioneers of groups such as APA, including but not limited to Thomas Verney and David Chamberlain. Today, the study of pre- and perinatal health and psychology is one which thrives and is truly multidisciplinary in nature. Where do these memories live, and how does one access them? Our pre-verbal memories don't tend to reside in our explicit memory. That is, the memory that you rely on when you think, 1 + 1 = 2. Rather, they live in the realm of implicit memory, which is based in the subconscious and the various layers of the body. Our ancestral experiences, right up through to our experiences until we are around 18 months old, are all encoded within our implicit memory. These experiences create filters through which we see the world, as well as our individual patterns and tendencies. Below the realm of the conscious mind, often these are habitual, forming patterned and ingrained responses that we just do, without thinking about them, and without consciously understanding where they came from. This could sound depressing in some regards, but I want to remind you that some of our patterns and some of the things stored in our implicit memory are actually very positive and really supportive for us. And also, for those which are less positive and less supportive, I want to give you hope that healing is always possible. As we see the beautiful butterfly in this image amidst the network of neuronal connections, it is a reminder that the brain and the nervous system can be rebuilt to a more optimal state, given the correct tools and help. And due to the nature of how these memories were encoded, specifically that some of them were encoded into the tissues and cells of your body, bodywork of some nature is an essential element to access the fullness and richness of one's stored experiences. Who needs to know this information? Short answer, everyone. Every one of us needs to know, because every one of us at some point gestated and in some way was born, and everyone was a baby. And every single one of us has pains and patterns, be they physical, emotional, spiritual, or relational, that we can heal. To quote Jean Rhodes, it is through the study of our prenatal and perinatal experiences that we find reunion for body and mind and access a greater understanding of ourselves as human beings. In order to reach that place of wholeness we talked about previously, we need to understand our origins and to work through any charge or power they hold over us. So having said all of this, what can you do to start this healing process for yourself, for your children, whether they be older children, babies, unborn babies in utero, or babies who have yet to be conceived? Start meeting these core innate needs in your children and helping them to find ways to meet these needs for themselves. Help them find resiliency. Help yourself find resiliency by finding ways to address and meet these innate core needs in yourself. What are these innate core needs? They are a sense of security, a sense of being wanted, valued, seen, belonging, a feeling of being nurtured and of being loved. It is through addressing these needs that we come to find our true sense of self. And so, as we find ourselves at the end of this first video in this series, I want to thank you for coming on this journey with me. And I hope that you feel far more informed about what is prenatal and perinatal health and psychology, who needs to know about it, and why it's important. And just possibly maybe you found a newfound curiosity about this topic. If you liked this video, be sure to click like and subscribe to this channel so you won't risk missing any new videos as they're shared. And please share this video with anyone you know who may find this information beneficial, be they friends, relatives, colleagues, or people in your community. Should you want more information or to connect with me for more support, you can comment below this video or you can reach out to connect with me on Instagram. Otherwise, stay tuned for our next video coming out soon. Bye for now.